Hey guys, all right, so today I'm going to show you how to make custom gradients or adding gradients to a project in Photopea or Photoshop. Essentially, they are the same, you do it the same way in both. All right, so first I have my document set up. The first thing I want to do is navigate to my gradient tool. It's located here in the toolbar. All right, the shortcut is the letter G. Okay, so gradient tool is right here. It's located with the paint bucket tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click on gradient tool. What the gradient tool does, it gives you colors from dark to light or light to dark or mixing. You can mix different colors. You can make rainbows. You can make all sorts of different color patterns. Okay, so to use the gradient tool, what you're going to do is when you're on your document, you're going to click and drag and it'll give you this line. So this line is going to be how long your gradient is. Okay, so the longer your line is, the longer the distance is between your top color and your bottom color. You can go diagonal, you can go top to bottom, you can go left to right. So you click and you drag out. Okay, there are some options here. You can change from linear, which is what we're on right now, to radial. So if I clicked and drag, it's going to give me a circle. And if I go short or shorter, that's where it's going to put that gradient. So wherever my starting point is, that's where my circle will start. So if I wanted to start it in the center, I would make it the start point in the center of the document. The next one is going to be angle. Okay, so if I go angle, so you don't have to drag at an angle, but this is what it's going to look like. So if I went up and down, it'll look like this. And Photoshop may be more precise. It may be a more precise gradient than it is in Photopea. So just be aware of that. This is what reflected looks like. It's very similar to the first one. Okay, and then diamond. So wherever you put your starting point on your artboard, that's where your starting point of your gradient is going to be. Okay, so we have some options here. This is black and white. And if you click on the drop down arrow, you've got some preloaded gradients in here that Photopea has provided for you. Okay, so if you go back to linear. All right, so remember, the longer you make that line, the more spread out your gradient is going to be. You can even go beyond the edges of your artboard. All right, so you can change these colors. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to double click inside this box, or not double click, but click one time inside this box. And if you notice this gradient pattern here, these are all the colors that are listed here. Okay, so say I wanted to change these. If I wanted to remove some of these, all I have to do is click on the ones I wanted to remove and hit delete. And it's going to delete those color stops, which is what they're called. Okay, so now I only have 3. So if I come back, I hit OK, and I draw on my gradient. Now I only have 3 different colors, really 2, but 3 different stops. If I wanted to add, I'm just going to click right below the line and drop a color. And I can change these colors by simply clicking on the box. So there's a white box around this stop. And I come right here to change the color. And I can change my colors to whatever color I wanted them to be. And then let's change this one to purple. Hit OK. And now I have a new gradient, a custom made gradient. Okay, so I can save this. So if I want to come back and use it again, I'm going to click on the drop down arrow, click on this arrow, and go to Define New. And now when I click on the box, when I click on the arrow, my new gradient is right here. Okay, so you can go through each one, you can adjust them, you can change them. So this one, this black and white one, is actually kind of cool. It's got these transparent lines that run through this. So rather than overwriting my previous gradient, it's going right on top of it and adding more colors, which is the black and white, which is cool. I actually didn't know that that did that on there, so that's cool. You can do this on any color. So if I go back to my gradient tool, and let's see what happens. Actually, let's see what happens when I use this one. I don't know how it's gonna. Yeah, so because those white lines are transparent, it's only showing all black, right? So it's black, transparent, black, transparent. If it were black and white, then that would be a different story. So to add the transparency, you would click up here and set your opacity to 0, and then that's how you get the transparent look. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to this one. Let's see what happens. So this is how you can make like things like sunsets in your designs. If you wanted to do a sunset, you would go from orange to the purple to the black, you know, the twilight colors. You can even do a search for gradients, gradient colors online, and you should find some free ones. And if you wanted to change them, you'd come in here and then just use the hex code or the RGB codes to change your colors. All right, so that's how you load gradients, create them, change the direction of them, and create custom gradients.